appropriators, you too, Ranking Member, for their relentless good faith work on a strong bill that protects vulnerable children, keeps America safe, and honors our values. Madam Speaker, when people ask me what are the three most important issues facing the Congress, I always say the same thing: children, children, children. Today, we have the opportunity to help the children. We are ensuring that children have food, clothing, sanitary items, shelter, and medical care. We are providing access to legal assistance, and we are protecting families because families belong together. Right now, children need their families. Right now, little children are enduring trauma and terror. Many are living in squalor at border patrol stations. Some are sleeping on the cold ground without warm blankets or hot meals. Kids as young as 7 and 8 years old are watching over infants because there is no one else there to care for them. As one little girl caring for two infants said, "I need comfort too. I am bigger than they are, but I am a child too." Today, we found out that the administration is sending children back to a station in Clint, Texas, from where just days earlier, those children had been removed after enduring weeks without a shower or change of clothes. When visiting these children, one lawyer reported, "The children are locked in their cells. They said they can't bring themselves to play because they are trying to stay alive in there." And yet last week, the Trump Department of Justice argued in court that the government should not have to provide children in custody with soap, toothbrushes, or beds. This situation is child abuse. It is an atrocity that violates every value we have, not only as Americans, but as moral beings. Today, sadly, our values are being undermined by the president's failed policies, which has intensified the situation of heartbreak and horror on the border, which challenges the conscience of America. This legislation is a vote. Today, our legislation is a vote against the cruel attitude toward children of this administration. This bill does not fund the administration's failed mass detention policy. Instead, it funds effective, humane alternatives to detention that have a proven record of success. This legislation secures limits on how the money is spent and how the administration treats children. And it creates strong oversight by Congress so that we can protect children and ensure this crisis never occurs again. This legislation also helps address the root causes of this situation. It reverses the administration's senseless decision to block the humanitarian funding that Congress had already appropriated for the Northern Triangle countries, where many of these refugees are coming from. And it ensures that the funding is used by these countries to curb migration, improve border security, and prevent human smuggling and drug trafficking, in addition to combating corruption, reducing poverty, and promoting growth. That's what the agenda is about. A recent trip by some of our colleagues, led by Chairman Elliot Engel and Chairman Jerry Nadler and other members, to the Northern Triangle. They saw the effective use of those funds, and while they were there, seeing the exercising oversight and seeing the effective use of that funds, that at that very moment, the president reversed the policy. And so we are launching a $200 million pilot initiative to improve the Customs and Border Protection's processing system based on a proposal from the UN High Commissioner for Refugees. The evangelical community, Madam Speaker, a while back when there was another Muslim ban, and when that happened, we were not in the majority, but we did have a hearing where many people came, national security experts, diplomats, everyone came, people of faith-based organizations came to object to the president's Muslim ban. And at that time, representatives of the evangelical community of America, this is not an individual, but a representative of the evangelicals in America, stated, "America's refugee resettlement program is the crown jewel of America's humanitarianism. We must protect and strengthen this pillar of our immigration system and our democracy. Families belong together. And as we face the challenges presented by the president's policy, we must help immigrants know their rights. Immigrants must know their rights. Families belong together. Every member of this body has a sacred moral obligation to protect the human rights and the lives of vulnerable families, no matter who they are and from whence they came. They all are God's children. They have a spark of divinity within them that we must respect and remember our own spark of divinity as we view these children and our responsibilities to them. I urge a strong bipartisan vote for the children, the children, the children, and yield back the balance.